Welcome to the podcast, everybody.
Starting over.
I got a beautiful one with me today. My beautiful wife.
Wait, start it over.
Are you ready right now?
Hold on. Let me get my giggles out.
Yeah, it'll take about 15 minutes. Shout out to all the pairs. And we're live.
No.
Welcome.
Hold on. Stop.
You just gotta start going.
Okay, let me
It
stop.
never gets easier
Let me stop.
till you practice. Welcome, Matt Ellis Podcast, episode number 4. And we have a beauty for you today. As I stare at her and she captivates me and all the imaginative things I could think about right now. But I have my beautiful wife, Brittney Nicole Ellis. Welcome. So we got a different background today. No coffee table. We got the plants. Brittney's quite the green thumb in this house, but you know, they're starting to overtake. This is quite the little stand behind us. And this is inside the house. I think a little much. We got the space for it. It's aesthetic.
not.
It's aesthetic. It's nice, but I mean,
Barely anything.
it's a lot. No, I like the plants. They make the place look better. And I like the background better than the coffee table. Plus, they didn't really get to see the coffee tables. Dad's big ass covering it up.
It was a coffee bar.
Coffee bar, excuse me. From a dresser that we renovated. That was nice.
It was a China hutch.
It was a China hutch. I'm sorry, I forgot. So, Brittney, how's life treating you?
I don't even know what to say to that.
See how hard it is when you're not prepared? It's really nice to have a list of questions and like bulletin points of what you want to talk about and where you want to lead the conversation. So it's a new year. It is what? It's like, well, it's February now. But everybody talks about goals in the beginning of the year and resolutions. You got any resolutions for 2024?
Yeah, I'm hoping to start working. It's been a while. I've been a stay-at-home mom for 3 years now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, since Xander was born. 3 years.
Just turned 3 January. Little Xander. He popped in on the last pod with Dad for like 2 seconds. He's like, and I was like, go ask Mommy. He's like, okay. He always listens to that well. I'm like, ask Mommy. He's like, whatever. But he does it. So you said you want to get a job. Or you're going to get a job, right? Where you want to work?
So last year, I actually went to esthetician school.
Mm-hmm. Congrats.
I graduated in July, and I took my exams in October.
Got the highest test in the class. What?
Got the highest test in the
Damn
class.
right you did.
I don't know if I got the highest grade in the class on my exams, but I know I got the highest grade on the written exam in my
Group.
friend circle.
Yeah, in the group chat. And there's always that one really smart girl in the group chat, right? That always gets the high grade. And what'd she get?
I think she got a point below me or something.
Yeah, she got 1 point less.
Like a point or two.
Yeah. A win's a win.
She scored higher on the practical, though.
Oh, well. Gotcha, bitch. Okay, so.
But anyways, so I was going to wait until after the year to actually start applying to jobs.
Mm-hmm.
And so last month I started applying and quickly realized that it was going to be a lot more difficult than I thought it was going to be.
Everybody's hiring, but nobody's hiring.
Everyone's hiring, but they're not hiring new graduates.
Mm-hmm. With no experience.
They want like 4 or 5 years experience or a medical background.
The SDs are around. They seem to be plentiful in numbers. So, yeah, I think they're oversaturated right now in that kind of market, it seems like. But you could be a truck driver. I mean,
No, I can barely see over my own steering wheel.
So, how many miles do you think you even have under your belt personally that you have driven? Because you bought your car with how many miles?
25,000.
And you've had that car how long? Probably like almost 6 years.
6 years.
Yeah, 6 years. How many miles it's got on it right now? You probably don't even know.
I have no idea.
It's got less than 90,000 miles on it. So in 6 years, I mean, that's a decent bit of miles. But how many have you put on? Because I drive it most of the time.
So how many times have we went to New York in my car?
Once or twice. I don't remember, honestly.
Because I know each time.
Just once, maybe. Because we rented a car last time.
We did.
And then I took my car by myself that one time. And then I took my car to Florida. But I don't know where we've taken your car, really. Besides New York once.
We took it to the beach a couple times.
Oh, we did take it to the beach a couple times.
We've taken it to Georgia.
Yeah. But in the 6 or 7 years you've been driving, you probably got 20,000 miles, 30,000 miles under your belt.
To be fair, I have driving anxiety.
You're not going to get over it unless you practice.
I don't like driving new places. When I started esthetician school, I made Matthew.
Go ahead.
I made Matthew go with me a couple times before school actually started so I could learn the route and what I was supposed to do when I was driving by myself, which helped a lot.
Even though it would have only took probably 1 or 2 times for you to make a mistake. I'm like, well, that lane ends. But I tried not to harp on you too much because it was aggravating. I'm like, just fucking drive. Just go.
But it's Charlotte, though. Like, it wasn't just driving around Gastonia or Dallas. We were driving in Charlotte.
Charlotte's nothing. Go to Atlanta.
We did. Where did we drive through Atlanta traffic?
I don't know. Because we went through Savannah when we went to Florida. But we went through Atlanta when we went to
see
your brother.
Matt. Yeah.
Your brother, yeah, in Jacksonville. Mm-hmm. That's about it. And I have probably driven, I don't know, I've put over 100,000 miles on my car. And I've put 30, 40 on your car. And then at work, driving truck, I've probably put another 150,000 miles or so. Because I don't drive that far. I'm local. Sometimes I do more miles in my car going to and from work than I do at work. Like, it's 39 miles to work. And on Thursday night, I only drive 55 miles the whole night. But that's okay. We were going somewhere. Resolutions, well, that's what we were talking about. And you said...
I was hoping to get a job.
A job. And what else you been working on? Your screen time?
Yeah, what was it, last week? Or the week before?
It's been like a week and a half, so I don't know when you started it exactly.
I started reading like 2 weeks ago, and I noticed on my phone that my screen time had been down 70%.
Mm-hmm. Like seeing that, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Which was really nice. And since then, I've read so much that I have strained my eyes. My eyes are strained. So I have an eye appointment on Tuesday.
The doctor said, look, if you go from not reading at all to reading 6 hours a day, your eyes are going to hurt.
But I was reading, though. Like, I wasn't reading physical books, but I was reading my Kindle. My eyes didn't start hurting until I started reading the physical books.
I wonder why that is.
I don't know. Well, the text is smaller on the physical books because you can enlarge the text on Kindle.
Right. That's probably a good little advantage. I feel like I constantly, every time I read, I feel like I'm straining like that. I feel like I couldn't do that for 4 or 5 hours. But they said it's a muscle in there for that helps you read better, or helps your eyes not get sore when you read so much.
Another resolution that we started was that we started going on daily walks.
I like the walks. The walks have been good.
Yeah, and fortunately for us, we live around a lot of parks. So when we take the kids on the walks, they'll see the parks and we'll pick a different park to go to. And so their screen time has also went down a lot.
Because even though they're 6 and 3, it's 2024. These kids get screen time. They do. And they deserve it. They're good kids. But yeah, the parks and the walks have been really nice. We walk 15 minutes around a couple blocks and we'll pass 3 parks and a soccer field and a walking track. And
we actually passed by the local fire department today.
That was cool. And
one of the guys was out there washing the truck. And he seen the boys and asked the boys if they wanted to come over and take a look at the truck. And he
get inside, and
he let them inside and
turn the lights on. Checked out all the tools. We dude, to a point that guy was like just bored or something, or he felt inclined to give us the grand tour of like the entire fire station. We're just randomly passing. We're just randomly walking by the fire station on a walk, and they're washing the truck. We walk up, whatever. So after they sit in the truck and turn the lights on and stuff, and we gotta walk around. We're opening every little cabinet thing, and we got extra fire extinguisher here. This is the jaws of life. We got the freaking. What else do we got? And he's using all these words that Elijah has no idea what he's talking about.
Elijah had no idea.
And he's like, yeah, this is the tether for we got a 100-footer over there and the plug and the this. And Elijah's like, cool. Where's the water? He's like, well, this engine doesn't have water on it. It's the lateral and blah, 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 blah.
So then he takes Elijah over to the other 3 trucks that's in the fire station.
We were at the fire station for 45 minutes, it felt like. It was probably close to that. And one of the lieutenants comes out. He said, what did he say? You gonna bore them to death or da da da? You ain't just let them look at the truck, he says. You ain't got to give them your life story. I started dying.
But I enjoyed it.
He was he was nice. I appreciated it. He was being really cool for the kids.
Because I was interested. So I think he was like trying to inform Elijah on the certain things, but he was also like talking to me because I was all up in it, like looking around.
He's probably like, she's interested. I got someone else to play to, someone to care about what I do. Probably nobody cares about firefighting as much as that guy. That guy breathes firefighting, sleeps and dreams it.
You're being mean.
No, he was a good guy. He was nice. He got that shit in his blood. He's a firefighter. He's a little autistic when it comes to it. He's maybe firefighter autistic. I don't know.
Cut that out.
No.
Cut that out.
That's funny, bro. No. The boys are singing, no. The boys are singing. This is gonna be the most boring episode ever. Nah, let's talk about something exciting. What's a crazy story that you would like to share? What's the first one that came to mind? What did you just think about? First story that came to mind. And I'll tell one after you.
It was back when the Trump signs were everywhere.
Oh my God. I know this story. Go ahead.
People were going in like people's yards and stealing the Trump signs. And so I'm with like my group of friends in high school, and was it high school?
No, you were graduated.
No, I wasn't graduated.
Oh, I don't think you were yet.
It was high school.
Yeah, no kids yet.
And they're like, oh, I dare somebody to grab that. We were going around the golf course by Crowder's Mountain.
Oh my gosh.
Going around the golf course, and there was one sitting right on the shoulder. And they were like, I dare somebody to go steal that Trump sign. And obviously
Brittney spoke up, said, that will be me.
I will be the one to do that. You dare somebody, I will be the one.
Put your hand down. I said I would do it.
And I stole it.
And you stole it. You put it in the car and took it with you?
And I'm pretty sure Jessie hung it on her wall.
No, it's in our front yard right now. We have a Trump sign in our yard right now.
No, we do not.
But we do support Trump. Just kidding. And Biden.
We've never voted.
We support the leaders of this country, whoever they may be, left or right, don't matter. That man better figure something out. Biden about to
Stop.
No, I'm just kidding.
Cut that out.
No. This is eventually going to turn into a comedy podcast.
You're going to offend a lot of people.
That's the point. And that's not the point, but if that happens in the process, I'm not going to let it bother me. Just like that burp didn't bother me.
What's a story that comes to your mind?
The first story that came to my mind was my hand. That's what came to my mind.
Have you told that story?
No, not on here. It was your mother's birthday. We all went to the bar. And, the bar is like 2 blocks away from our house. So we occasionally walk and whatever. It's nice to be able to walk home. Usually walking home's the funnest part. Well, this time it was not. So everybody leaves the bar.
We had stayed until close.
Yes, everybody in Brittney's family, because it was her mother's birthday. left the bar, went home early, went back to our house, and me and Brittany stayed till close. Get to walking out the bar, we cross the street, and we're dicking around, we're lit, and I see this pole, like a light pole, but it's metal, a little thinner, and I'm acting like I'm about to go swing on it, spin on it like a little stripper or a little firefighter or something. And
we were very drunk.
Yeah, we were lit, because next thing I know, I jump and I grab this pole and I try to spin and twist on it. And there's this really thin metal sign riveted to this metal pole. And the corners on this sign are razor fucking sharp. So when I grabbed this pole and spun, that corner just happened to catch my hand right here. I don't know if y'all can see the scar, but caught my hand and gutted my shit. I'll put some pictures up. I don't know if you can. Yeah, I'll put pictures up right now. Bad. It's pretty grotesque, but I'm gonna put the pictures up anyways. So, sliced my shit wide open. Started leaking immediately. I'm like, oh my God. I was like, babe, take a picture of my hand. Take a picture of that pole. We suing the city. And then just took off running. Obviously, we weren't sticking around to take a picture, but just took off running. I was hauling ass. I left Brittany. She's fucking drunk trying to keep up, and my hand's fucking leaking. I'll stop and sling it, and you can hear it. I hit the ground.
The blood.
Sling my hand. The blood's just flying off my hands. I'm fucking running, like holding my hand up, and we get back to the house. I got blood dripped all over my shoes. It's on the porch.
He's wearing white Prestos.
White fucking shoes, custom Prestos, and walked through the door, get blood on the door, the floor, everything. Thankfully, we had a sober person there, and he took us to the little urgent care, whatever, got stitched up, had fun time giving the doctor hell, and got 11 stitches. And I was out of work for about a week and a half. Went back to work, still had the stitches in my hand for 2 days. And I was like, fuck it. And I cut them out myself. Yep, went back to work. It was cleaned up enough. I still got a pretty wicked little scar, but that was a fun story. That was a fun night.
So the next day after that had happened, we had went back and looked at where the sign was to see, like, what had actually happened. And all the way from our house to that sign was just a trail.
Oh, you could follow it. Just drip, 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 drip.
All on the sidewalk.
It was brutal.
From our front door, actually from the bathroom, out our front door, all the way to the sign. Mm-hmm. Was a trail of blood.
And I think the doctor said I had just barely nicked that artery or something, the artery that was in there. But luckily I didn't get, like, tendons and stuff like that, and so it was really just in the muscle. So thankfully I got pretty lucky with that cut. I didn't lose any movement or feeling in my hands or finger. So
I think he did say that you tore some tendons, but they would heal on their own.
Maybe, yeah,
or something like that.
Yeah, I was lit at the fucking. We were both drunk at the hospital, so it was fun. I was recording him, and he's like. He said something. I was like, "Oh no, you're good, man. I'm just recording." He's like, "Oh no, you can't do that." I was like, "Oh, whoops." I shouldn't have said anything. I'm like, "Yeah, no, it's good. You're good, man." I'm like, "I'm just recording." "No, you're good. Keep going." He's like, what are you doing?" That's not. I don't know if it's illegal or what, but.
I don't think it's illegal. I think it's just to save their ass.
Yeah, I think it's probably like kind of like a patient confidentiality thing or a doctor confidentiality thing. Yeah, that makes more sense. What do I know? I'm just a dumb truck driver. I feel really comfortable with you next to me, but I know you're not comfortable. I mean, you're probably comfortable now, but...
I'm comfortable. I just feel awkward.
Yeah, because you don't know what to talk about because you feel like you have to deliver.
Yeah, and I don't know where to look.
I've been looking at the camera most of the time.
I've been looking at you the entire time.
Yeah. Well, when I did Dad's, I looked at Dad most of the time, and I'd peek over and then peek back. But
that's what I've been doing.
I feel like it's good. I feel like it's good to show your face and not be profile the whole time. But it's hard when you're sitting the way we're sitting. But I like sitting like this too, because I like being next to you and not across from you.
Is this gonna be in the video?
Probably, yeah. So, what in your opinion, has been the biggest trial you've had to overcome as far as being a stay-at-home mother and not being in the workforce for the past 3 years? What's been the biggest hurdle for you personally?
Making time for myself.
I could definitely see that.
What's that supposed to mean?
No, I'm just saying you're busy. You're busy. What do you mean? Until you start reading for 6 hours a day. I'm like, do something. You're like, read my book. I'm like, well, this would be a great time to play Call of Duty, I guess. Or edit a podcast or make a podcast and try to be productive. And I think reading is productive, so I'm not downing you at all. I wish I read more too. I'm a little jealous of how much you're reading right now. I'm like, well, why is she so good at this? Because you're flying through those books.
I know. I just started that series like a week and a half ago, and I'm on book 5.
I have 3 teeny thin little books, and I've got to like page 15 or 20 on each of them, and I'm like, meh.
My books are like this thick.
and mine are like, meh. And because like, and my retention, my retention's terrible. I can't remember anything I read. So when I pick it up, it's like a new book again. I'm like, I'm not consistent enough with my reading.
I used to think the same thing until I started reading like books that I actually like.
Then that makes it easier.
When I was in school, reading was my biggest struggle as far as grades.
Mm-hmm.
And because it's all like historical passages, like things that I really don't give a fuck about.
Yeah.
But then I started reading like books that actually grabbed my attention.
And when you're a kid, you don't care about that kind of stuff. So it's hard to retain anything or a lot of things because none of them are interesting. You're getting forced to learn. And when you do it in your free time, it's more like you're enjoying learning things or just reading stories and whatnot. But if you're not interested in it, it's definitely going to be more hard to retain.
Mm-hmm.
And that goes for just about anything. That's why I like to tell people it's really important to take a little bit of pride in your work, your job, whatever you do. Because if you don't, and you don't enjoy it at least a little bit, it's going to be hell. You're not going to want to go, and you're going to be miserable. Because especially if your home life is bad, if you don't have a good home life to come to, and your work life is bad as well, and you don't enjoy that, it's just a bad mixture. And you're going to be a miserable man. So you got to take some pride in what you do.
You have to get a hobby.
I have hobbies. I'm doing it right now. And I have a motorcycle out in the building that I rode today. It was 50 degrees. And I put pajamas and some jeans on. And then I put 2 shirts, a sweatshirt, and a rain jacket on. And I was honestly pretty comfortable. And I put latex gloves on. And then I put my motorcycle gloves on.
No way.
Yeah, because my hands have been cold. Like, I'll layer up and I'll be good. But the past couple times, my hands have been getting cold.
Did it work?
It did work for a while. And then about 45 minutes in, it was getting chilly. Those gloves, they're really breathable. And I like that. But in cold weather, your fingertips definitely get cold. Because I don't have anything blocking the wind right there either. But motorcycles, podcasts, comedy. Those are my hobbies.
I could see you building like the vintage cars. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. Like just, what do they just call it? They call it restoring. Like restoring an old car or something.
No, like the miniature.
Oh, like a figurine kind of car. Or like a replica.
Yeah.
Yeah. Those are cool. Like a really nice one. Building, I would be interested in that. Yeah. Well, I'll make it a motorcycle, and we'll do that. No, they're so much smaller and be so much different. I don't think you could make that. I
want to get into Legos.
Legos are fun. Legos are really cool. Elijah had a Lego phase, and dude, I was like a kid in a candy store, putting his Legos together for him. And we was getting the super glue, and we was gluing them, and trying to keep them together and keep them nice, but they don't stay nice. I mean, if you want to go through the painstaking process of super gluing each and every piece, sometimes it's worth it, but when you got freaking 15 different boxes of Legos, you're like, nah, let's just throw them together. If we lose them, we'll just get another one. I know that sounds fucking shiesty, but They're kids. They're like $6 or $7 for a little motorcycle or a little Spider-Man set. Well, some of them. Legos do get a little pricey nowadays. It'd be like a 200-piece set. It'd be like $15-20 at least. But it still only builds like a teeny tiny little figurine. Cheers. Look like you need a refill. We might be here for 3 hours, but we're probably only going to get an hour and a half of podcast. But it'll be a good hour and a half. And I'm going to be editing this thing for like a week and a half. Thank you, everybody. Have an amazing night. The amazing Matthew Ellis. Like you make a good joke.
Tell me a joke.
What'd the big tomato say to the little tomato?
Ketchup.
Did you cheers me or not?
Yes, I did.
Oh, I forgot to drink. Ask me a question.
What are you most proud of?
I don't know. That's a tough question. Because I'm most proud of the position that we're in right now. And the part of me wants to say I'm proud of my career that I've made. I'm proud of the family that we've been creating. But I don't know what I'm most proud of, you know? Like, I'm pretty proud of all of those things. I think the position that we're in today, and as fortunate as we've been, and as hardworking as we've been, I think we've got what we've deserved, and I think we've gotten lucky. So, not lucky, but I don't know what I'm most proud of. Maybe just this house, I think, and the family in it, I think. What?
Oh.
That would be the most cliche answer anyways, so. But that is true. That is the true answer, I think. It's this house and the family in it and where we're at. And how we've been able to make it through all the trials and tribulations, because there's been plenty. You know, switching jobs and getting speeding tickets and worrying about losing your license and worrying about losing your wife or worrying about losing whatever, you know, or worrying about are you enough or can you change or, you know, all those things. Because nothing changes unless you change. That's my one of my favorite quotes from a... Thank you, I needed that. Go ahead, hit it again. Beautiful.
Do you have to hold it?
Yeah, you gotta hold that one. Yeah. I need the long applause because the short one was kind of heartbreaking.
Well, then say it again. And
Nothing changes unless you change. Gay! But no, that is one of my favorite quotes from a great man named Jim Rohn. And he's a big personal development spokesperson and stuff like that. Towards the end of his career, he mostly did like seminars for companies on forming good habits and positive mindsets and positive growth and stuff like that. But in his beginning of his career, he studied multimillionaires, basically. He studied the people in the highest power who made the most money, who ran the biggest companies. He studied those people and tried to figure out what made those people so successful. That's what his career was, pretty much. And once he figured out what they got, like, I think he was I know he studied Carnegie, which was Carnegie was the steel guy. I think he had like the big steel company in America when we were first coming up. And studied a lot of people. I forget the main guy who mentored him. I forget his name, but yeah, Jim Rohn, huge inspiration. That's where I learned a lot of my personal development from. Like that video, we used to rent this house in a different town, and I was begging Brittney to watch this personal development seminar. It was like 2 hours long, and she wouldn't watch it, but I convinced her to watch it only if I gave her a back rub while she listened to it.
I remember.
Yes. Because I was on this big personal development kick because I had gotten involved in Forex and those fuckers over there at I Am Academy. It's a scam. They're going to steal your money. Don't do it. It's not completely a scam, but it was. It was a pyramid scheme type thing. And a networking and marketing kind of company. But they did trading, and I got involved in that for about a year. And gotten this big personal development kick, which was the main thing I took away from that, which I'm grateful for that, because it really got me hooked onto personal development and always trying to become a better individual. So I'm thankful for that. It was worth whatever I lost in the market. So whoever got my money, you're welcome. I still got something out of it. So booyah. Nothing is ever a loss, only a lesson. So what would you say is your favorite thing to do, like, in the house? Like, as far as an activity, it could be like having a fire in the backyard, or playing Mario Party, or maybe cooking dinner for the family. Like, maybe that's probably not your favorite thing to do, but right now it's probably reading. But
I have a lot of hobbies.
You get hyper obsessed with many things very quickly.
Hyper fixate.
Yes.
A lot of things.
Which I'm kind of like that too, but I like that.
I crochet. I play Sims.
You do crochet. I forgot about crocheting.
I crochet. I play Sims. I read.
You love makeup, but you don't get to do it that often anymore. You love getting dolled up. I thought you was going to get dolled up for this, but you just sprung it on me all of a sudden. Because I've been begging you for like 2 months to do a podcast with me. You're like, I got to get ready. I'm going to do my makeup and my hair. And all of a sudden you was like, nah, let's do it right now. I was like, bet, let's go. I'm going to set up. Let's go.
Oh, and I like plants.
Plants, yes. And you were doing a lot of, like, what is it, propagating, and what do they call it? Propagation, yeah. Where you clip from another plant and start another one, a new one.
Yeah, but I have so many of the same plants that I had to stop propagating.
Yeah. Because you was going to start giving them away or selling them or something, right? You thought, we've had very many side business ideas for Brittney. We've thought about refurbishing furniture, propagating plants. What else have you thought about making money on? Crocheting, probably. There's 1,000,001 crocheters out there. What else have we really thought about making money for you on the side? Oh, Uber and, like, you know, whatever the other one, what is it? DoorDash, stuff like that. But anyways, yeah, sorry.
My favorite thing to do is probably read, but I do enjoy riding on the bike with you.
I love taking rides with you.
But it's so cold out. Like,
right
I know you're still riding, but like, you got gloves. I don't.
It's cold on the bike.
We took the bike to Scarowinds.
That was fun.
It was a little date night, and it was just me and Matt, so we rode the bike to Scarowinds.
I thought we went with Ryan and...
We did.
Yeah.
It wasn't Ryan. It was
Brittney and Seth.
Jamie Lee, Seth.
Yeah. That was fun.
But we took the bike, and it was fine on the way there.
Super beautiful on the way there. It was like 75, 80.
But on the way back,
it's a little
I was freezing. Freezing on the way back.
Because it's not bad. It's like a 25-minute ride to Carowinds. But when you're going 75, 80 on 45.
With no gloves.
And you're trying to hold on. Like, you should have put your hands in my pocket or something. Like, because I had that Nike jacket on. But my hood... The wind kept catching my hood, and it was like pulling me around.
In the neck, and the strings kept coming around and smacking me in the neck.
And we started tucking it in.
I just fucking grabbed a string and his hood and just held on to it the whole way there.
Yeah, that was cold.
Awful.
And it was like 60 degrees that night. It wasn't bad, but when you're going 70, 80, they say it's supposed to feel like 20 degrees less than what it is. So if it was 60, it felt like 40 riding down the road. And today it was 50. So it felt about 30 riding down the road. But I feel like I'm really accustomed to the cold too, because I work in the cold every single day. And most of the times it's just with a t-shirt or a light, thin jacket like this. I really like this jacket that I got from a Boost Mobile store in Charlotte. Because I had to go and... What did I have to go to Charlotte for that day? You remember? I had to pay a seatbelt ticket. God, these fucking cops hate me, bro. Troopers give me PTSD. But I had to go pay a seatbelt ticket. They reduced it to something, but then it was $10. I'm like, yo, so you can hit me with this seatbelt ticket all you want, you dumbass little fucking stupid ass cop. Anyways, no, I love cops, but troopers give me PTSD. City cops are awesome, but paid that little $10 seatbelt ticket, and I was on my way home, and I'm like, dude, it's too cold. I can't deal with this, so I had to stop. And I went to a Family Dollar, and they're like, they didn't have shit. And I talked to one of the ladies. She was like, oh, man, try the Boost Mobile store next door. You know, it's like in the hood in Charlotte. So I walked to this Boost Mobile right next door, and sure enough, they got fucking jackets and hoodies and everything hanging up on the wall. I'm like, and it was $15. $15. It's thin, but it really saved me that day. It got me home pretty comfortably. Come on, mama. You come up here. Come on. That's a good girl. You gonna put it on the table? Oh, no.
I'm not gonna put her on the table.
Let everybody see our dog. This is Lady. Lady girl. I would love to get her howling right now, but the kids are asleep, so we probably shouldn't. But
Don't.
I'm just kidding. It's too late. If we start howling, she'll start howling too. It's the greatest thing ever. It's so cute. Her's a good girl. Her got a bath the other day. Her so soft and clean. We've had Lady for about 7 years now. And I think she was only about a year or two old when we got her. She was still pretty young.
I found her in the produce section of a Food Line.
In the produce section. Chilling with the tomatoes and shit.
And she bit me.
Did she really? Yes. I didn't know she bit you when you first got her.
Yeah, she was walking around and nobody else would. I was working at Food Line.
Was she real skittish then too?
Yeah, and...
So she must have ran into the store when she got dropped off.
Yeah, nobody would go pick her up. And so I went to go pick her up and she bit me. But I picked her up anyways, and then she pissed all over me.
Bitch.
So I stood outside of the...
So she knew it was destined from that day.
I stood outside of Food Line, and I asked the customers, like, is this your dog? Is this your dog? And nobody claimed her.
So then she called me. And at the time, you were pregnant with Elijah. I was driving a 97 Toyota Tercel. And you said, Matt, get up here. I got this dog. We need to save it. It's precious. And when I got there, surprisingly, I liked her. I was like, oh, she's cute, you know. And we took her back. Surprisingly, we got her in the car, and I got her out of the car somehow when we got back, because we were living in a building in the backyard of your grandparents' house. And we weren't really, we were living in there for a couple months.
It was like insulated.
Mm-hmm. It was a decent building. Like it was raised up and it had built floors and it was insulated. Like other people had lived in that room. Your parents had lived in that room at one point. And you know, they had a little heater and air conditioner in there and stuff like that, and electricity and whatnot. But
I think did we not have a mini fridge in there?
We did have a mini fridge. The mini fridge was dope. Never really had anything in it, but besides beer.
No, because I got food stamps back then.
Oh, yeah. So we did have little sandwiches and stuff in there.
We had Lunchables.
We had Lunchables and lunch meat and like a little like food stamp cheese and shit. Food stamp peanut butter and jelly. Yep. So we kept her in the building with us until Elijah was born. And then when Elijah was born, we got our first apartment. Yep. Hudson Landings. Was that it? Fucking ghetto.
It was the Landings.
The Landings on Hudson. Yeah. How many times did your car get broken into? Twice?
I don't remember my car getting broken into.
Yeah, well, it got ran through because it got left unlocked, remember?
Because I never lock my car, but I also never leave anything valuable
Irresponsible. They took your change. There was like $2 in change in there. I'm missing that $2. Like, I could really use that $2 right now.
I could find $2 in your car right now on the floorboard.
I just cleaned out my car, so no, you can't. There's about $5 in change on my podcast table in the bedroom right now, though. That you rudely dumped all over the desk and woke me up the other day.
I didn't mean to.
I had like fucking 30 quarters sitting in the cup of her bra on my podcast table desk in the bedroom. And I'm sleeping because I work third shift, so I'm sleeping during the day. She walks in there and whoosh, dumps the whole thing. Go fucking quarters everywhere. I'm like I didn't say anything. Just closed my eyes. Tried to go back to sleep.
You woke up.
Oh,
because I was gonna apologize, but you didn't budge.
I was teetering because if I'm trying to fall asleep, but I'm not asleep, I'm not gonna let you know that I'm not asleep. I'm gonna pretend like I'm still sleeping because I don't want to wake up. But you can almost guarantee every time something like that happens, I'm up. But I don't make a move, and I don't let you know that I'm up because I don't want you to bother me because I want to go back to sleep.
Rude.
Huh?
Rude.
Well, I need my sleep. You don't understand. It is important. I prioritize my sleep ever since I ran into the back of that 18-wheeler. It wasn't bad. I just bumped him. I was working a route in Spartanburg, which is an hour from our house. And I was driving home after running a 12-hour fucking route. I was driving home. And I start falling asleep. I open my eyes and meanwhile, take into account it's 85 North in South Carolina. There's barriers on both sides and it's only 2 lanes. So I'm like, open my eyes. I'm like 10 feet from the back of this tractor trailer. And I think I barely tapped my brakes a little bit and then boom, bumped him. Fucking cracked my bumper up and messed my plastic up and messed my hood up a little bit. My hood's not real flush now, but ever since that day, I've definitely prioritized my sleep. We went for a few miles until we found an exit, and we pulled over, and I went running up to him. I got out the car and went running. I was like, hey, man, did your camera go off or anything? Because I know I drive truck, and, you know, if you get bumped or if you get hit hard enough, it'll trigger your camera. I didn't know if he had a camera in his truck or not. So, like, hey, man, did your camera go off or anything? Like, I'm another driver, man. I was, like, you know, having a hard time. Just got off my shift, blah, blah, blah. I was being honest. I was straight up with him. And he's like, oh, no camera. No, I ain't got no camera, nothing like that. He's like, I thought I did feel a little bump, though. My little fucking Hyundai. He's like, I thought I felt a little bump. I'm like, yeah, it was a little bump for you, bro. But and he had a super clean, like, brand new trailer. But, you know, he's like, well, let me just go look and see if there's any damage. And he's like, man, I don't see a scratch. He's like, let me look at your car. I'm just curious. Looks at my car. He's like, yeah, man, I mean, if you just want to go get that fixed up, man, we're all good here. I was like, yeah, I'm going to take care of this.
Bye.
I'm going to take care of this. Don't worry. We're good here? We're good? Okay, bye. So, yeah, luckily we didn't have to file an incident or anything like that. But I do have a nice little indention all the way across my front bumper now from his back bumper. So, gotta love the trucking life. It's fucking bullshit. But I really have, and I'm proud of myself for prioritizing my sleep because that's the last time I've ever been that sleepy behind the wheel. And I'm glad.
Yeah, you used to call me a lot and asking me to talk to you.
Yeah, I would be scared, and I don't know why I wouldn't pull over and just take a quick nap and stuff like that. But yeah, I would call you often and be like, I need you to talk to me. I need you to have an engaging conversation with me, not just a regular, how's the weather type shit. I need you to ask me what I think about my future type shit. And most of the time you were there for me, and I appreciate that.
Simp.
For you, baby. Only for you. We are a super simp couple if you think about it. Well, people on the outside looking in, people would definitely think we're just like they're regular, just everything goes their way. They've got it made. They've got it so easy. Blah blah blah. They're white. I'm just kidding.
What?
Come on, it's comedy. It's all in the name of comedy. But outside looking in, I think a lot of people would probably think that, but I don't assume anybody has it like that nowadays. I think everybody has been through some kind of trial and tribulation because who said it? Was it Lil Duval? It might have been Lil Duval or Chris Rock. Some comedian, some black comedian. He said, no one is immune to the trials and the tribulations of life. And that is very true. Rich, poor, old, young, no one is immune to those trials and tribulations of life. We will all go through it. And I think everybody has been through something. So
I agree.
That's why I try to give people the benefit of the doubt most of the time too.
I could definitely see people looking at our relationship and looking at everything that we have.
And our position.
And because we've even had people come in the house and be like, how do you have all this?
Because I'm a hard-working motherfucker, that's how. No.
And
my wife stays on my ass and makes me not spend my money so much. No, I'm cheap as fuck.
He really is.
I don't spend my money. The bike was the first thing I got for myself in a long time.
He used a 3-in-1 shampoo body wash.
For years, baby. And I wash my balls with the same rag I wash my face. And I'm peachy, baby. No, I'm just kidding. That was random.
Anyways.
I'm cheap. Point blank period.
I can definitely see that some people would look in on our relationship and like everything that we have and assume that everything just comes our way, but it's really not. You really have to work. You really have to work and put in the time and the dedication. And if you want those things.
Yeah, and I don't think anybody... I mean, obviously some people are given things. Some people do get inheritances and things like that.
We didn't get that shit.
No. Maybe one day. But my dad's young and healthy, and I want him to be around for a long time. So I'm not looking forward to any type of inheritance. But nowadays, I really do feel like where you are in life and your position and your current situation is a 100% representation of how much work you've put in and how much you've educated yourself. And, and it does have to do a little bit with getting lucky sometimes and networking, knowing the right people and things like that. Like I would have never got my job at Coca-Cola if we would have never been together. And I would have never met your Uncle David, your uncle-in-law, whatever. So that was the biggest blessing that's ever happened to us in our life, is David just saying, as soon as you turn 21, bro, go get your CDL permit. I will get you on at Coke. I 100% guarantee it. And he was a man of his word. And I have told him thank you multiple times. Continue to be blessed for that. But
you've also blessed other people with that same situation.
Yeah. My buddy TJ, I got him on a job at Coca-Cola, and now he works for the same company I work for, in a different location. But
and DJ
just
got his CDLs.
Yeah, but he worked at Coca-Cola before me. He just never ended up getting his license because he got let go before he got out of training and got his license and took his road test and stuff. If he would have got his road test done and got his license back then, they'd be in a way different situation. I mean, they're doing great, and DJ's a great provider, and he's a really hardworking guy, and I love DJ. But I think they'd be much more in a better position right now if he would have got his license back then. But he's got it now. Super proud of him, and he went to an actual school and got it. So
really, he didn't go to like the.
He didn't get it through a job because the job that he's got just laid him off. Like the other day. He's like, hey, I just got my license. I'm applying to, U.S. Foods and this place. And he's like, and then the next day he's like, oh, dude, my job just laid me off. I was like, fuck, man. I hope the interview at U.S. Foods goes good. Like, because he's got his license now. So he's got like 3 or 4 interviews lined up this next week.
Yeah, I've seen it on Facebook.
Yeah, I'm super proud of him, man. He's such a hard worker, and he gives his everything to that girl and his wife and his kids, man. It's super respectable, and he's a humble guy.
And they have twins.
Yeah, they got twins right off the rip.
First kid.
What a blessing.
First pregnancy. You end up with twins. Whew.
Twin boys, and they're fucking gorgeous, man.
They are.
Beautiful boys. But super happy for DJ. I hope they get everything that they deserve. And they definitely have a lot coming. So we've been talking a lot lately. Like almost every day we've been messaging. Because he's asking me like tips and stuff like that. I can't wait to help him out. He deserves it. But yeah, so we've definitely went through a lot, but we've been pretty fortunate, and we've worked hard. So I think we do deserve what we have. Of course, we're always trying to do better, as everybody I think should. Life is a constant improvement, and you're always a student. You should always treat life as if you were a student, always learning. So I know we're not as disciplined as we want to be sometimes, but I think that takes time too.
We also procrastinate very bad.
Yeah.
Both of us.
And we're like a little codependent on each other. So if you procrastinate, no, I'm procrastinating too. And if you're being lazy, well, sometimes like if I'm lazy, you're going to cook and clean. If you're lazy, I'll cook and clean. But it's about 50-50 between both of us being lazy and one of us being lazy.
Because we both have our own reasons to be tired.
We both have our own schedules too. That's what fucks up a lot, because your normal schedule, I'm sleeping during the day 4 days out of the week, you know. So, but yeah, and working third shift, it hasn't been as bad as I thought it was gonna be, if I'm being honest. We were scared when I told you I was switching to a third shift job, because I left Coca-Cola to get a higher paying job, because we had just bought a house and just had our second son, and I just was not prepared for that job. Coca-Cola did not prepare me for that job. Driving, I made many mistakes at that job, got into 2 or 3 minor accidents, and they wanted to demote me to warehouse for a year, and I just couldn't have that. So I went to a different company, and it was for the best, because I make more money than I would have there, and it's 4 days a week instead of 5, but it was third shift, and we were really nervous about that, but
as we should, because it's still very, very difficult.
It is still a challenge, yeah, because finding the time for each other, and I think the biggest thing, especially for you, I think, was sleeping in the bed together and only having 2 or 3 nights together that we can just lay in bed and have each other and talk and relax and catch up and stuff like that. It's
not even that, though, because he falls asleep on the couch a lot, and I just fucking leave his ass there because I'm not about to fight with him.
It's such a physical job. It breaks me down. I'm lifting and rolling 40,000 cases a night, or 40,000 pounds of cases and food and bullshit and whatever, but we adjusted well. I think we took it head on, and I think we handled ourselves well. It's still a challenge, because I'll be off Saturday morning, and I always want to stay up and help, but I know I need that sleep, or I'm going to be dead that night.
He's going to be ill for
I'm going to be ill. I'm going to pass out at 8:30, and I'm not going to want anybody to fuck with me, because if you fuck with me, I'm going to cuss you out, and then I have to apologize the next day. And that's always hard to do, because I don't remember being mean, because I'm half asleep. And I'm always like, why would I didn't do that. I did not do that. And you're like, here's video. You're cussing me out. I'm like, fuck. I'm sorry. I don't remember. But let's change subjects. Let me think of a question. I got a good one. You might not like it, though. It might get you in your feels. So for anybody that doesn't know, Brittney's biological father was in prison for 14 years of your life. And I'm sorry to bring that up right now, but it was impactful, I think, and what How do you think that affected your life in all? Like, what really? Oh no. All right. Are you gonna answer or just pour? Is that your answer?
That's my answer.
Yeah, maybe another podcast we'll discuss that. No? Okay.
Well,
Because I want to know.
what was the question?
How do you think? Let me say this. What's the biggest way you think that not having your biological father for 14 years affected you? Because let me just say this. I think if he didn't go to prison, maybe it would have been worse. But you go ahead.
I think the hope affected me the most because...
The hope? What do you mean?
The hope that...
you would see him or have him in your life?
The hope that he would be the father that I pictured in my head.
Okay.
Because my mom... I still remember the day that he went to prison. And
you remember that?
Yes.
How old were you?
2nd grade.
So 8? 7?
So the day, even before we were told that he had went to prison, he wasn't
around
in our life, but I wasn't really old enough to understand why and didn't really ask questions because my stepdad was there.
When did your stepdad Shane? When did he come into the picture? Like you were already, because I seen the wedding pictures. You were small. You were probably 6 or 7 right there.
Yeah, I was probably in the 2nd grade.
2nd grade when your mom and Shane got married.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I know that they worked together.
So they had been acquaintances, obviously. If they got married when you're 7, they probably knew each other a year or 2 at least.
But my mom had a really hard life, so she was trying to keep us from experiencing the trauma.
From the loss? From the trauma from not having him around, or the trauma from him being around?
No. So she never told us what my dad was in prison for. Mm-hmm. She told us that he was in prison because he was an alcoholic, which is true, but that's not his actual charge.
Yeah, it was probably the cause of all, obviously, and it's not the charge, but cause of a lot of things.
I went probably 8 years without really knowing why my dad was in prison.
Yeah, it was a long time, you told me, before you found out.
And so my mom never talked about it. She never talked about it. Anytime we would bring him up, she would shut it down immediately.
Which now I kind of understand, because y'all were young, yeah.
But my grandma, my dad's mom, I was really close to her. I spent a lot of time with my grandma. Mm-hmm. And she was very actively in my life. And whenever we would go to my grandma's house, she would have us write letters to him. Mm-hmm. Rarely received any back.
Yeah.
But I still didn't understand. But she was in our ear, like, talking how great he was and, like, telling us when he was going to get out. This, and this. So, like, in my head, all those years leading up to when he got out, I'm, like, thinking, like, yes, like, I'm a daddy's girl. Like, when he gets out, there's gonna be this big happy family and blah, blah, blah. Like,
you had that image in your mind, like that's what was gonna happen.
Yeah, even when I was in high school, because he didn't get out until I think my sophomore year.
Because you didn't really talk to him while he was in there.
Because I wasn't allowed. Yeah. I wasn't allowed to be
in contact.
Yeah. Besides the letters. Mm-hmm. And even when we were writing letters, if he were to send one, our family therapist suggested that my mom read those letters.
Before you do.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I didn't understand. Mm-hmm. Even in high school, my freshman year, we're like counting down to when he's going to get out. And not the day that he got out, but we had went to see him, and we had got to his house in South Carolina where he was living with his girlfriend. Mm-hmm. And this girl had 3 other kids. And we got there, and those kids are like bragging about all this shit that my dad has done for them. And I'm confused because I'm like, he just got out. Like, how has he had all this time to do all this stuff for you? And apparently he had been out for months and didn't say anything to us. Like, didn't have the urgency to see his biological children, but he's sitting there taking care of, like, all these other kids.
His girlfriend's kids.
Yeah, and so I think my point is, like, the main thing that affected me the most was the hope that he was going to be what he was to those kids for me and my siblings. Yeah. And that crushed me a lot.
Yeah, that breaks my heart.
But my mom married my stepdad, and I resented my stepdad a lot because I was very unaware of who my biological father was and what he was. Mm-hmm. That I resented my stepdad because I'm like, you're taking away from my father.
Because he could be here right now doing what you're doing, but you're trying to do it.
And for a long time, I resented him, and I shouldn't have, because looking back, like, he was the father that I needed in my life. Yeah. And like, I would go over to my friend's house, and I'd see their fathers, like, passed out on the couch drunk and, doing this, and this. But my stepdad, he would put us in cheerleading. He put us in softball. He was our softball coach. Like, he was so involved with us. He would take us out in the yard. He would play with us. And I should have realized then how much he loved us. But I didn't until I got older, unfortunately.
You can't realize that when you're a kid, I mean, you never would be able to. You don't realize how much is going into each situation. So I wouldn't feel bad. I wouldn't criticize yourself for that, but understandably, I mean, you're a kid. But thank God Shane was there. He's a great man. He is. And I appreciate him to this day. He's like a handyman. He's like my dad. He's just Mr. Fix-It, and that is very respectable in a man. I wish I was as Mr. Fix-It as my dad and these older generations have been. I'm very capable, and I can do many things around the house, but just takes time and having to go through the situation personally before you can learn those lessons. That's why I'm like, well, when Dad was 16, he was rebuilding a car with his dad. And that's why he knows so much about cars and blah, 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 So that's just an example, because I don't know very much about cars. I can change a tire, I could change oil, I could probably change some brakes if I watched a YouTube video, but
my stepdad can do everything. If anything happens in the house, I don't ask
Superman.
I call my stepdaddy because he's going to come fix it for me.
I can fix it. She don't need to call nobody. She better not undermine me and my abilities.
But my thing is, like, with all the resentment that I did throughout the years,
I take the mentorship well.
As much as I pushed him away, I feel like he needs me to call him and tell him, like, I need you to fix my car.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I need you to come fix my toilet. I need you to come fix this leak in my sink. Because even though that we could just YouTube it, like, I'm going to call my dad because I want him to know that, like,
you want his help.
He's the first one that I will call.
Yeah, and people want to feel needed, like, period. People want to feel like they're appreciated and they're needed around, so...
He worked his ass off to provide for me and my siblings that weren't even his kids at all. Mm-hmm. He had three jobs at one point, and he had his own business, his own landscaping business. And even though he would make us go with him and rake up the fucking leaves and do all that shit, and I hated it. He was working his fucking ass off. I had never seen sweat pour off somebody's face like I did with him.
And
when he would bust his ass.
Yeah, he instilled good values in y'all.
There's nothing that I could do to show him the appreciation that I have for him.
Just kidding. Yeah, and I think it's really important for kids to see their parents grind like that, because... if you're a kid and let's say your parents are well off already, they don't really get to see you grind and put in that work like maybe they need to see you do, because that's where they're going to learn a lot of their work ethic from, is watching their parents. Even though, you know, we got money or whatever, I'm still out here grinding. I'm still out here working hard for it. So that's hopefully how to pass on good work ethic to your kids. But I think it's important for your kids to see that, because that is how it will get passed on. Majorly.
I think the main thing that I learned was to not have 5 kids.
We had 5 kids in the house too.
We have 6 now. There's 6 of us, but then it was because they worked so hard, and if we wanted to do a sport, they were putting us in it. They didn't care. My mom would go to Goodwill and she would buy like
cleats or something.
No. She would buy old, like dingy, dirty toys from Goodwill, and she would clean them. She would clean them up really good, replace the batteries, and she'd post them on Facebook Marketplace just to sell and have enough money for us to do whatever sport we wanted.
Yeah.
I remember back when Savannah was born, and my mom, she had to stay home because, you know, she just had a baby or whatever, and that's what she would do. She was buying stuff from Goodwill and reselling it after she cleaned it or fixed it or did whatever just to have enough money for us for Christmas. And it was, I never want to have to go through that.
Yeah.
Because I know that it was hard for them. I know how much effort it took.
I wouldn't want to go through that, but I wouldn't mind showing my kids how to make a little money on the side, you know, because we did stuff like that with Dad too. Like, Dad would be done at a job site or something, and they'd have a bunch of leftover copper wire. So he would,
yeah, we definitely did that shit too.
But we would bring it home and we would strip it ourselves. We would lay it out in the sun and let the insulation get soft, and then me and Ryan would grab one end, and we'd lay it on the picnic table, and it'd be a long strand, a long little bundle of fucking thick copper, man. And lay it down in the sun, then we'd put it on the picnic table, and Dad would hold the razor down on it, and me and Ryan would pull as the razor cut through the insulation, because you get more money for it if you strip it yourself. And I remember we took some copper to the damn whatever, the dump or whatever.
Yeah, that's where I took it. Junkyard.
See, I'm so not an adult. But we would take it to the yard or whatever. And I remember one day we got like fucking almost $400 for the copper we stripped. I was like, dang. He's like, yep, that's going to be groceries for the next month. I'm like, damn.
So we didn't take copper.
But it was a group effort too, so it was cool. Like,
we did cans.
You brokies.
Aluminum cans. We would
not your own.
Our own. We would save aluminum cans because my stepdad was really into like Sundrop and Coke.
Oh yeah, he's got a bad.
And even now, like, you go to their house and there's
that's his vice.
There's Coke.
That's his vice, man.
His Sundrop was his shit, but he
fucks with Coke.
He suffered from like kidney stones really fucking bad.
Yeah.
So he gave up Sundrop and went to Coke. But
Sundrop will do it, bro.
Anyways.
I drank that Diet Sundrop one day. The next day I was pissing blood. Swear to God. Anyways. For real.
We would stand out.
Oh my God, I'm pissing blood.
There'd be a bag of cans, and all of us kids would be out there in the driveway stomping on them, crushing them, so that we could fit more cans into
You didn't?
the bag.
Oh, I see. See, in New York, when you return cans, you can't crush them already. At least that's how it was when I was there, because I worked at my uncle's grocery store.
Yeah, but y'all take them to the grocery store. We took them to the junkyard.
Oh, see, that's how you get money for them. Okay.
Yeah, that's why I was so shook when I went into the Jubilee.
And they had the can.
Crusher
thing.
Machine. I'm like, what the fuck is this?
The Jubilee.
Like,
even you call it the Jubilee.
Yeah.
It's the Shop and Save now, but
oh yeah.
You never knew it as the Jubilee. Mm-hmm. We just call it the Jubilee because that's what it was. No, but yeah, you get 5 cents a can up there. Nah, I know you ain't getting 5 cents a can at the junkyard, but still, it's something.
I don't even remember how much we would get. Probably like $40.
Because he would have other things. He'd have some wire and stuff with him too. I went to the junkyard with Shane before.
Yeah, because he's a handyman, so he's got all this like different
scraps,
random scraps of metal, just different stuff
for sure
to sell. But we were scraping by for money so bad, and they still did everything they could. We weren't allowed to have like nice clothes whenever we wanted, but if we wanted to do a sport, they was definitely scraping money to get us into that sport or something that we wanted to do. We didn't get nice clothes until Christmas. That's why we had such big Christmases, because we couldn't afford anything else. So they would do everything they could to give us a nice Christmas, because it was the only time of year that we actually got things that we really wanted.
Like real gifts and stuff that y'all had been asking for. Yeah, like, same with my dad. Like, we would do any sport we wanted, but when it came to, like, buying the things for the sport, we was going bare minimum. Like, my basketball shoes was $80. My cleats for soccer was $60. My fucking, I got hand-me-down shin guards and socks from my sister. I got hand-me-down track shoes when I ran track. Now, they were still good track shoes, and me and my sister happened to have the same size foot. She was a senior. I was in 7th grade when I did.
Brittney ran track?
Brittney ran track, yeah. Brittney ran track, and I used her shoes. She wasn't a senior when I was in 7th grade. I think she had already graduated. Maybe she graduated in 2007. So, yeah, she had just graduated the year before I joined track and field. And I used her shoes, and they fucking fit. So, I was a 7th grader. She was a senior. Thank God they fit. I didn't even get new track shoes.
We definitely had hand-me-downs.
Mm-hmm.
Hand-me-downs was...
Oh, yeah.
And I was the middle child.
The hand-me-downs.
Just putting that out there.
What does that mean?
We got it the worst.
The middle child? Because you got to get stuff, but then you got to give it up? What do you mean?
No, like, my clothes was passed down from Clarissa, Amber, to me. The middle child gets none of the attention.
Well...
None of the attention.
Well...
Tell me I'm wrong. Aren't you the middle child?
Well, kind of. I'm the youngest between my full-blood siblings, but I'm the middle between all my siblings.
Yeah.
But you're the middle with your full-blood, and you're still
with Clarissa
still the middle.
And Austin.
Yeah, you're still the middle, but...
I was the middle child. But the only advantage...
At least you get hand-me-downs.
The only advantage of being the middle child was if we bought a house that had 4 bedrooms.
You got your own bedroom.
I was the one that was getting my own bedroom because I had 2 brothers and 2 older sisters. And my 2 older sisters hung out with each other. Mm-hmm. They didn't hang out with me. So that was the only advantage I had.
They didn't like
the
your
middle
ass.
child. They didn't. They were very mean to me.
For most of my life, I shared a room with my brother Ryan. But... until
there was one point where all of us shared a fucking room. All of us 5 kids in one bedroom.
Tell me about it.
Who?
Tell me. I talked about that on my last pod too.
Me, Amber, and Clarissa in a queen bed, and Austin and Matthew on a mattress on the floor on a twin bed.
No, thank you. That's too much. Yeah, we had. It was Jamie Lee and Scott had a bunk bed, and then I had the single bed. And then Ryan had a bedroom in the hallway next to the dryer. Next to the dryer. And, of course, Mom had her own bedroom. So, yeah. So, it was 3 kids in the one bedroom, Ryan in the hallway.
When you lived in Osceola?
Mm-hmm. I rode by there on the bike today. Did I send you that snap?
No.
How'd you know?
Life 360.
Oh, you fucking...
I'm like, where is this motherfucker?
FBI fucking detective. I'm surprised my location was working this time.
It was.
Yeah. It likes to work when I'm on the bike for some reason. It's like, we're going to show you how fast this motherfucker's going.
And I did. I went because I was checking to see how fast you were going. And
I only hit 100 once.
When I clicked on there, you was on 321 going fucking 80. And I'm like, I know the speed limit ain't 80 on 321.
I remember when I looked down and I was like, oh shit, I'm fucking doing 80. Fuck. Because I had gotten off Marietta and I was passing that church that leads to your mom's house with the speed bumps on the road.
Yeah.
They put all this... Yeah, I was coming down that way. And I was coming up to the light at Garrison.
I seen you...
And I seen 80. I was like, whoa, damn, that was not...
It was Clemmers. That was right beside you or something. Or you were going through that neighborhood right by Clemmers.
Yeah, I was. Yeah, because I ducked off into a couple neighborhoods and I just wanted to explore today. Just wanted to find I did find some different roads, but yeah. Pause. I'll see how long we've been going. Hour hour 20 on this, and then the last recording was probably 30 minutes too, 20 or 30. So about an hour and 50, almost 2 hours. So I'm about done though.
Really?
We can keep going as long as you want. But
What else?
I don't know. You want me to ask you? I'm making mac and cheese over here.
ASMR.
Alright, babe.
I'm gonna drink this wine.
You better chug it, motherfucker. Because I'm gonna grab my drink. And I'm gonna chug it, motherfucker. Tip that bitch, you
Can you hear it?
Yeah. Not
Can you
really.
swallow it?
No, not really. No, I'm just playing.
Did you hear that?
A little bit. But I did mine at the same time. Gross.
How many people put their lips on this?
At least 3. Jamie, Seth, Dad.
Why does it sound like that?
Because the air cut on. That's the air running. But you won't be able to hear that in the video. I can like any kind of white noise or any kind of like any kind of buzzing, zinging noise, I can edit that out.
Trying to think. That was a really good subject.
It was. You did good.
I did.
You was really flowing. And you didn't stutter, you weren't nervous or nothing. See, once we get flowing, it's like nothing. It's like...
I feel like the personal ones I can really like.
Because you've experienced it and lived it. And it's easy to talk about things that you really know. If you're not very knowledgeable in the subject, I've learned, just don't talk about it. Like, when it comes to truck driving and being a father and being a, you know, stuff like that, it's like, oh yeah, I'll talk about that all day. Because I know it really well. I can speak on it from experience. So, what kind of experience are you knowledged? What kind of experiences are you knowledgeable in? You've had 2 kids. How was birth? How was birth? Bertha.
For some reason, is this actually a question?
Yeah, sure. How was birth, bro? My guy.
Dude.
Brother.
So for some reason, well, I know the reason because I got that epidural.
She said it was easy, bitch, you
yes,
pussy.
My first.
Elijah just popped out, brother.
So
2-3 pushes.
me and one of my old friends was pregnant at the same time.
Alexis. I shouldn't have said her name.
No, you shouldn't.
We'll
have.
cut that out.
We were pregnant at the same time, and I was working, but she was not. She didn't work her entire pregnancy.
Damn, rip.
But I worked up until I went in labor.
The day before you delivered.
No, I went in labor.
Technically, the day before. Well, you went in labor. Technically, yeah, the day before you delivered.
I was working when I went in labor, and my manager had to tell me to go to the hospital because I didn't know.
Because we had Elijah at 6 a.m. the next day.
But I have a very high pain tolerance, so that could have been the thing too. But my friend, ow!
Oh, high pain tolerance?
Fuck
Can't
you.
handle a pinch?
My friend had went into labor before me, and she had an extremely hard delivery.
Yes.
It was really bad for her. I remember calling her, and her baby daddy.
We won't say his name either.
Her baby daddy had answered the phone and was like, "Yeah, she can't talk right now," and I could hear her in the background screaming. Like, she wasn't even pushing yet, and this bitch was screaming.
Get the this fucking demon out of me. No,
I'm fucking about to go into labor. Like, I'm on the verge of, like, having Elijah.
Mad anxiety.
And I get off the phone and I'm like, fuck this.
Cut him out now.
I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it.
No, I'm backing out. Just keep him in there. He'll get absorbed.
I eventually went into labor, and for some reason, it was just the easiest thing in the world. Oh,
Thank
wait.
God.
Let me back up a little bit before I would say it was easy as fuck, okay? I was...
Before you got the epidural, it was not easy.
I was working that day. So was Matthew.
Mm-hmm.
This is Matthew's first child. And so... Matthew's working, and he still had a phone that was not an iPhone.
It was a slide.
It was a slide-up phone, so he didn't have a GPS on his phone.
So I had a GPS I plugged into the car.
I texted Matthew, and I'm like, or maybe I called. I don't know. I told him
you were calling me.
Something. Anyways, I texted him. I'm like, hey, my mom and dad are taking me to the hospital. I'm in labor. I'm gonna see what they say. And he's like, all right, let me know what they say. And so I go to the hospital, and I'm in active labor, and I'm ready to be put in a room. Mm-hmm. So I call Matthew.
It's like 6 p.m.
And I'm like, hey, it's time. This motherfucker says, I've only got like 3 hours of my shift. Do you think you can hold it?
Just hold it. Just suck him up there for a little bit.
Do you think you can hold it?
She held it, bro.
And
she knew.
I said, I don't really think it works that way.
No, it did, though, that night. She knew. No, God was looking out for me. He's like, I'll hold it for you, brother.
But I got it from here. Be there. So this motherfucker almost finishes his shift.
I got it from here, my boy.
But on his way from
I finished my shift.
You did?
I finished my shift. I got off at 10 o'clock and still made it to the hospital, like, by 11.
Anyway, so that he finishes his shift, and he gets in the car. GPS is dead. So he has to pull over at
It's
Ganesha.
such a garbage GPS.
Was it Ganesha?
Ganesha.
He pulls over at Ganesha, which is like a gas station, hood gas station.
Good, yeah.
And he's got to charge the GPS.
It takes like 10 minutes to charge before it'll even turn on. So I'm like sitting there, I'm like, fuck, I'm about to miss my baby. I should have started heading that way.
Yeah.
But I just sat there.
He's charging the GPS. He finally gets there. And I hadn't got the epidural yet because, they try to wait until like the last minute or whatever so it doesn't wear off during...
Yeah, I was there for like an hour or two before they gave me the epidural.
During delivery. And Matthew finally gets there, and I'm like, I'm in pain. This shit fucking hurts.
She's shaking and ain't even got the epidural yet.
And I had a travel nurse, and she kept coming in, and she's like, how are you feeling, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, when is the fucking epidural gonna get here? When is this shit gonna happen? I want the epidural now.
I need it. Run it.
And she's like, oh, he'll be here shortly. I'm like, all right. 30 more minutes. She comes back inside. How you feeling? I'm like, where's the fucking epidural?
You called her a bitch.
Hold on, I'm getting there.
I'm sorry I ruined it.
And she gets back in and she's like, he'll be here shortly. She leaves. She comes back. I'm like, where the fuck is it? I need it.
Stick me already.
And she's like, he'll be here shortly. I'm like, you fucking bitch. I don't think I said fucking.
No, yeah, I don't think you said fucking.
I'm like, bitch.
She's like, oh, fuck. Maybe, I don't know, but.
I feel like I did say
you might have mumbled fucking, but dude, and you was like, bitch. I was like, oh, whoa, she probably heard you. She probably deals with that every day.
Needless to say, the anesthesiologist was in there in like 15 minutes after that.
After that, he did come quick.
And after I got the epidural, man, it was smooth sailing. Man, I did a full beat. I had a full face of makeup on.
After you got the epidural, you was like,
I did.
I'm doing my makeup because I'm going to look pretty holding this baby.
And I had Elijah, and it was easy as fuck.
2-3 pumps. Just like me.
You're exaggerating a little bit.
2-3 pumps. That's all it took.
So Elijah was easy as fuck. And apparently, if you stay active and work, which is my whole point about my previous friend, If you stay active in work, then your labor is a lot more easier than if you are not active.
I 100% believe that.
And so she hadn't worked at all, so her labor was...
She was lazy bones.
Very difficult.
Yeah.
So anyways, you know, having a delivery that was easy as fuck.
Well, I mean...
It was easy after the epidural.
There you go. Because you're making it sound really easy.
Yeah.
Was it that easy? I'll have a kid right now if it's that easy.
It was. That's why I got pregnant with Xander.
Because it was easy the first time. He's
Yeah.
like, I'm not scared of birth. Fuck that.
But...
The epidural must be something real. That's some serious fucking medicine.
So, I have Elijah or whatever, you know. How many years later did we get pregnant with Xander?
3 years later.
3 years later, I get pregnant with Xander.
2.5, but yeah.
I'm not worried about the delivery. You know?
Okay, big fucking champ
Elijah
over
was
here.
smooth sailing.
Here comes Xander ripping that motherfucker up.
Shut up. So I went into labor, obviously. We get to the hospital. Struggle.
Mm-hmm.
Immediately, I'm having a hard time. I'm hyperventilating. I had to get an oxygen mask.
Mm-hmm.
I've got the epidural at this point, and I'm still having to hold an oxygen mask. It's in the middle of COVID.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, we had a COVID baby.
Matthew and my mom were the only ones there. I didn't want shit to do with Matthew. Get the fuck away from me. I wanted my mom. That's how bad it was. But Xander was not easy.
Yeah, what was the difference between Xander and Elijah?
I don't know.
Because
I worked.
It felt like you, you did work the whole time too, and it felt like you didn't push very much more than you had to with Elijah. It seemed like 4 or 5 pushes, and he was out. Maybe a couple more pushes, and he was out.
For one, Xander was bigger. Elijah was a very little baby. He was 6 pounds.
What was Xander?
7.
Was he?
3.
He was. He was bigger.
I was very sick with Elijah. I was.
Yeah, you were going through. Yeah.
I was constantly throwing up.
Throwing up a lot.
I was losing weight. I couldn't gain it the entire time I was pregnant. But yeah, Xander was very, very difficult for me.
But you're still ready for number 3?
No. Not for another,
Please say 2 or 3 years.
Yeah, 2 or 3 years.
Okay.
I just graduated from esthetician school. I really want to get it established. And
there you go.
I want to have that experience.
Because you can go on maternity leave and always come back. They don't give men maternity leave. Well, some companies do, but...
And I need to get Xander out of diapers before we have another kid.
Yes. He's getting there. He's been using the potty here and there, so that's nice. But I feel like Xander and Elijah have had 2 very different upbringings, even though they've been in the same house.
Elijah was in daycare, so having that
from
structure...
almost day 1.
Having that structure, and then him seeing other kids going to the potty and
really molded him, I think.
What they were learning, it helped a lot.
Yeah, he's ahead of his time.
Elijah is very smart.
Yeah, one of the smartest in his class right now.
Xander is just a COVID baby, and Elijah has only child syndrome.
Well, let's just be honest. Xander's a dummy, so...
No,
I'm just kidding. Xander is just... He's been at the house. He's just been chilling his whole freaking 3 years of life, so... He's just...
Xander has been fighting for his life. First of all, Elijah is very mean to him.
Elijah's a demon to him. He's terrible. Just torments him constantly. I'm like, Elijah, you've got it coming back. It's gonna come back to you. She's good. Yeah, she's been chilling, looking at me. She's happy.
But
yeah.
No more kids for another
couple years.
Try
to stack some money, pay some bills, do some things, make some moves.
Buy some land, build a house.
Fuck yeah. That's next. Sell this house, hopefully make a couple $10,000-$20,000 at least.
Okay, you ain't gotta put our business out there like that.
It's a house. Most people make money off their houses, I would imagine. That's the point. It's an investment. Market's going up. Might as well take advantage. I mean, it's kind of going down now, but that's just interest rates and stuff. But I think house prices are still going to stay about the same. Interest rate might change, but I think we can still sell for $200. Close. Once we do a couple things, fix these floors. These floors are mucked up.
They're original hardwood floors. They
Yeah,
haven't been
you know the stain.
refinished.
You know this old ass stain, bro. You spill just water on it and don't pick it up in 5 minutes, it's gonna leave a mark. It's gonna leave a stain. It's so fucking old. I can't stop looking at them. Don't look at them. Embarrassing. Just look at the plants. They're pretty. Look at our beautiful wedding photos that are probably cut off at the head from the frame. My neck from looking at you. That's why I had to turn and sit like this.
I've been looking at you the whole time. How do you think my neck feels?
Stiff.
Still.
Just like my neck too. Yeah, my neck is stiff too. Nothing else is stiff. Pause. Come into my fortress. Speak to my whim, and I will follow you to the... This program was brought to you today by Blue Chew. Just kidding. Have you heard of Blue Chew? It's like Viagra, but it's a gummy that you chew. Yeah. I was watching this guy. It's so funny. It's been circulating a lot. This clip of this comedian talking about, I tried Blue Chew the other day, and I was wondering, have I ever been hard? Like, he's like, I was so fucking hard. Like, I wondered if I had ever been hard after I tried Blue Chew. No, I say that because a lot of the podcasts that I watch
Are inappropriate?
No. They
Offensive?
They advertise Blue Chew. They're like representatives of whatever company pays them to make ads on there. Like a lot, like almost 3 or 4 podcasters that I watch are sponsored by Blue Chew. And sponsored by like Keeps, which is like a hair loss medicine. They're sponsored by Fume, which is like a vape but tobacco-less. What other sponsors that I see? BetterHelp. This is therapy. I actually tried that one time. It was pretty helpful, I guess, for a month. But I didn't want to keep paying for it. Yeah, that's about it. There's a bunch of other sponsors out there.
My ears are hurting from these headphones.
You ready to take a break? All right, let's think of one more question to end off with. You ask me.
What do you want me to ask you?
What do I want to become? I don't know. Or what I want this podcast to become.
This one or like...
In general. This podcast in a subjective manner.
How would I ask that?
You just ask it. Just say, so, I got a question for you. Da-da-da-da-da.
But I don't know what the question is.
What do you want your podcast to become? What do you want to...
What do you want your channel to become?
What do you want to fulfill with what you're doing right now? What void are you trying to fill with podcasts? I don't even know the answer. I'm just thinking. My drink is gone, by the way. Need a refill. I think we're about to cut this out. You want to ask me anything else before we go?
So, okay.
Wait, shh. Elijah's TV is still on. I told him to turn it off. He's probably asleep, but we'll check after we're done.
What do you want your podcast to become? What do you want your channel to become?
What do you mean?
I don't know. You told me to ask this question.
Like,
what do you want to give to others?
I think mainly I just want to share experiences. I just want to hear people's stories, and I want to share my stories, and I want to help in every way that I can. I think for being a 27-year-old man, I've got a decent amount of wisdom and knowledge, and I would like to share and help as many people as I can with that. I know we all go through struggles, and sometimes we all just need that voice of inspiration sometimes, or motivation to keep us going. And I just really enjoy picking people's brains and seeing how they became who they are now. And that really interests me, and hearing the stories and how people grew up and what they had to go through and stuff like that. And then, I mean, kind of like a mini therapy session, you know, just maybe seeing where someone's lacking at and trying to help them improve in their own way, in their own life. And it's all positive. I just want to be helpful, really. And I want to understand why people are the way they are. And in return, I hope it helps me understand why I am the way I am. And and hopefully this podcast will turn into something eventually that reaches a broad audience and can really impact people's lives and help them out. Because I listen to podcasts all day, not all day, but when I'm at work, I listen to podcasts, and it gets me through the night, and it keeps me, informed about current events, and it keeps me, in the loop of where the culture is going and where the country is going, and it also just gives me a laugh and something to keep me going throughout the day. Music does enough, but sometimes music gets old. You can only listen to so many songs so many times. So podcast is a good way to get another perspective on things, and if I can reach and impact as many people, or in a way that I've been impacted by podcasts personally, then that would be the ultimate goal, I think. Would be able to impact people the way I've been impacted by podcasts, and just conversations with people, and an open conversation. No one, I don't think anybody, I'm a firm believer in freedom of speech, so I don't think anybody should be silenced for any kind of opinion or anything like that. Even if no one agrees with it, they're still entitled to their opinion, and I would like giving people that opportunity to share and whatnot. But eventually I do want to pop off a little bit, I would like to reach an audience and impact people. It's not like I want to be famous and I want to make a lot of money. Of course, that'd be nice too. Maybe not the fame part, but the money. It comes together hand in hand doing a business like this or something, but if it turns into a business. But yeah, if I can impact and help people the way that I've been impacted and helped, that's the biggest accomplishment in my opinion. Good question.
Good answer.
Thank you. And I think we'll end on that.
Well, I think I want to say, in the end, it's not what you've been through. It's who you make of yourself after. I think everybody goes through something. Everyone has their own emotional damage.
For sure.
And their own trauma.
For sure.
But it's who you make of yourself after those. And you learn from those experiences and learn what to do and what not to do.
Yeah. I like that. Anything else?
That's me.
And that's our episode. Thank you. See you guys next time. Matt Ellis Podcast. Thank you, baby girl. Give me a kiss. Not any more than that. Love you. Bye.